So, Dad, what are your personal opinions on the class system in North America?
I'd never really thought of the class system in North America. When I grew up, I didn't necessarily think that North America, I guess I bought into the concept that North America was a classless society. But it's obvious that there are different classes. My best friend at university was the first person in his family to ever attend university. The difference even between my parents, my mother came from Toronto and my father came from rural Prince Edward Island and a farmer. So in that sense, what did class make? I mean, my mother might know better how to use china and silverware, but they were equals intellectually, and my father ended up providing financially for the family in a upper middle class way, and then all of his children. So he would have. Oh my God! Excuse me. Excuse me. I hope you can edit. Can you edit?
No.
You better be able to edit.
It's all in the video.
Oh, for goodness sakes.
And
so, let's talk about classlessness.
Keep going.
Is inviting somebody for an interview and then coffee while they're trying to make their point.
I'm leaving this in. No, I can cut most of this in.
So class is transmutable. I think that, yes, people like to define class. They like to say that there's a working class and there's a middle class and there's an upper class and whatnot. And yes, to some degree, those things can often be very, very entrenched. But in North America, anyways, that can be also more fluid than is sometimes given credit. And in fact, the whole concept of the American dream is that there is no class, and that there is a constant fluidity to class.
Okay, so let's talk about the American dream. Do you think it works? Do you think it's a real thing?
No.
No? Just no?
No.
Doesn't work, can't exist. Not everyone can achieve whatever they want with just hard work.
It's not that they can't achieve what they want with hard work. It is the American dream, in my mind anyways, paints a picture that is unachievable by most people. So what it does is it creates a false expectation of what creates happiness. Right, and so the American dream is in its current incarceration, or in whatever the word is. In its current being, the American dream is monetary.
Okay.
And that is a flaw.
All right. What class do you identify as?
Well, when I was just a little younger than you, I was a card-carrying member of the International Socialist Party of the World. And so I would have always identified myself with the working class, even though I grew up in what probably would be an upper middle class family. And I think that experience of growing up upper middle class has infiltrated every aspect of my life, my own expectations, my own values, how I see my place in the world, how I see my success or failure in the world. And I think it's terribly important that everybody understands that the ramifications of things like that. But no, I mean, at the moment, I'm economically, I am underclass, bottom of the barrel, the untouchables.
Right. So how does culture relate to class, or does it?
Culture is the story, right? So culture tells the story of what is class. So in India, where they have a caste system, the culture tells the story of this very rigid demarcation points in class structure, right? In Britain, the culture tells the story of class through accents, often. So you can tell an Etonian student or somebody from Manchester right off the bat from their accent. Canadians have often gone to the States for positions as newscasters in the American media because Americans see our accent as middle of the road, right? Well, yes, and not southern and not necessarily northern, and sort of like, where's that accent from, right?
So Canada's a thing.
Well, that's true. So, but that is sort of one of the reasons why it has been acceptable, because if you because culture can bring in ideas of limitations, stereotypes. When my father, back to history lesson, but when my father first started working in the civil service in 1960, 62, something like that, he strongly felt that there was a glass ceiling. It was only so far he was going to go in the service. And the funny thing is, he doesn't even contemplate the fact that my mother didn't go anywhere. They were both hired at the same time, almost for the same job, right?
And she never moved?
She didn't move, but she also started having children, and so was shunted aside, sort of thing, right? But I mean, obviously they were both probably equally capable. He always thought that there was a very strong glass ceiling against Catholics in Ottawa. And because he was Irish Catholic. And that glass ceiling didn't break until the French arrived. So in the 1970s, the French arrived, and all of a sudden it was much, much better to have an English Irish Catholic succeed than a Frenchman who happened to be Catholic as well. Wonderful. So culture very much does inform class, and has very much a interaction with class.
Okay. So, do you think the class system in North America is broken, and if so, can it be fixed, and how?
Well, that's a freaking stupid question. The assumption of that question is that a class system works, right? And I do not believe that a class system works.
Okay.
I do not believe and a class system to some degree, not always, but a lot of the times, and I think this is your premise, your theory that you're working off. A lot of times, class systems are based on economics.
Yeah.
So, I find that the capitalist model and the current view of the allocation of economic resources to be problematic.
Yeah.
Right?
It's like 90% at the top and the rest of it square between the middle.
Yes. And so if it's problematic, then yes, it's broken. If it's problematic, yes, it was doomed to failure, and yes, the lawyers will be shot first. So
don't go to
No. Just make sure you're in the right law firm.
Alright, that's all the questions I have for you. So, thank you.
Well, thank you.